Okay. Here we are. 10/10, March 3rd, 2019. Lab test 29. Basic interactions. Hello? Good. Okay. What are you? Right. What is your function? Okay. Everything looks good. Looks like we get everything in order right about now. Oh, what's this? Well, it looks like I'm going to have to do some more formatting. But there's something wrong. Okay. Let's try and figure that out. All right, when we run it, we see that each one of those lines prints on its own. This is also 3 calls for print command though, and I think it can be run a little bit more effectively if instead we start combining these and formatting it within one print statement. One of the first formatting things we can do is we can use the escape character with the backslash there. Backslash allows us to access characters that we can't otherwise type. We'll look a little bit more at this in a second, but basically the one I want to use right now is \n. That creates a new line. And this is another way to make a line. So what I'm going to do here is just make a line before line 1 so that there's a break between our blah, blah, blah statement and our first statement in our lines of text. You can see that escape character N allowed us to make a new line but didn't add any spaces or anything else into our outputs. So we can extend the same sort of thinking and we can combine all of those 4 print statements into one print statement. We can make it so that we print all the lines separately within one print call. I use the new line again. Then the \r is carriage return, and we'll see how that's different. And then I'm going to use /v. It actually is a vertical tab, so we'll see how these 3 are different. So we'll save this up and run it again. Our blah 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 code is still there, and then we can see this is line 1. Then we skip all the way and see this is line 3, and then we have the last line printing. So we can see that the \r, the return carriage, it actually returns us to the start of the line but doesn't move down a line, so that the next line actually writes over the previous line when we use /r. So these are actually carryovers from old typewriter and electric typewriter code. So that's why there's some extra characters we wouldn't otherwise use. There's a bell character as well. That comes from the old electric typewriters that ding at the end of the line. So if we replace the \r with \n, we'll see that when we run it again, the second line will print out this time. All right, so we have this is line 1, this is line 2, this is line 3, and this is the last line. We can see that the vertical tab doesn't move us back, simply moves us down. So that's where a difference from the new line character and the vertical tab. So I'm actually going to replace these with vertical tabs because I like the look of it. So we have this is line 1, this is line 2, this is line 3, printing off like steps. And that is a simple way. We've taken the 4 print calls and made it 1 print call, and we formatted our text in a way that's very easy to read. We can see where each one of the lines is because in our code we've formatted it in such a way that it shows how we want it to print it out. There's a whole bunch of characters that we actually can't access within a print call without using escape characters. For instance, one of them is a quote. Since we use a quote to open and to close, if we use a quotation mark within our statement, a single quote within our statement, if that's what we're using to open and close our string of characters, then what ends up happening is it closes the string of characters, and what we write after it doesn't get included. So this actually brings up a syntax error. And if we try to run it, we're not going to get anything running. It's just going to tell us that it can't run. Right? So we have an invalid syntax as our error that we get here. That's a compiling error. That means that the program doesn't even run with it there. So if we fix that up, we can fix it up by using the escape slash and then the quote that we wanted to do. So now the escape character tells the compiler not to interpret the next character, but just to use it as is. So when we run it now, we have the apostrophe that's there. These are sometimes called string literals, because it's in a string literally being interpreted. So here we go. You can print new line as a new line. If you want a backslash, you'll use backslash, then backslash again. Single quote we looked at, double quotes, the bell character, which is more of a depreciated one. I don't use it. I can't remember the last time I've actually used it for any reason. Backspaces, tabs, vertical tabs, but then there's also this way to get all the any one of the characters that's an ASCII character can actually be accessed using its hex value. So if we look up the ASCII table, we're going to look up the ASCII table here, and if we look up the ampersand, its decimal is 3/8, its binary is there, you can get its octal value, its hex value, and those all relate back to it. So its octal value is 046, I think. So if I put that in, use the escape character, just use the escape character, then it's 3-digit octal value. So use its 3-character octal value for the ampersand. And when we run that, it'll print out the ampersand for us. So that is a way that you can get any character that is an ASCII character. But that's the print function. It's one of the more important ones because without it, we can't communicate with our programs. We have to learn how to format it properly so that we can get nice clean outputs for the user to interpret it easily. Without being able to interpret the outputs, it doesn't really make much sense to put them there. So one of the sort of exercises you could do to practice this is take the escape characters, all of the different escape characters that we were using, and just make a table that outputs what the escape character is and what it means, and just print the lines one after the other, so that when you run the program, it'll output all of the different escape characters. You don't have to go through all of the ASCII characters, but just the other ones that are just like backslash and backslash T, and show what they do. So that would be a good exercise to do. So you could practice this very important but rather simple function.